Welcome to The Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
This episode of The Kindness Project was recorded live on Facebook during lockdown, which explains why we're probably still talking about being stuck indoors. I hope you're enjoying your time outside to the fullest, and thanks for listening to The Kindness Project. This week on The Kindness Project, we talk about lockdown blues, funny names and achievements.
Good morning and welcome to the Kindness Project. Hope you enjoyed our brand new, if you're watching us alive, I hope you enjoyed our brand new title.
Yeah,
that was really good.
You might have heard the music start over because I was testing the audio in the background and I forgot that it was going to pick it up, and so...
Oh, that's good. So that we've got a new little title page. So thank you for esteemed producer Russell for producing that. And welcome to the Kindness Project on the 27th of May.
Yes.
9:31.
9:31. We're supposed to start at 9:30, really.
Well, we did. We sort of did. But that title is so long. It brought us to 9:31.
Did you notice that it said Wednesday and today's Wednesday?
Amazing. It knows the day. I don't know whether that...
It knows the day of the week. And we have one for each, day of the week that we do this.
Amazing. So that is what's going on in our world. We get excited about titles now. I'm joined by a girl who is pretty and played. It's Charlotte Dames.
Pretty sure you've used that one before.
I might have.
Yeah, and I'm joined by a man who's just come back from his own home gym. It's Chris Dames.
Yeah, you know what? I've been really lazy over the last couple of days. I haven't done any exercise at all. So I thought today I'll get back at it. And I don't know if it's made me feel better or not. I'm struggling a bit today. I think lockdown is getting to me today. So I'm reliant on you today to cheer me up.
But hey, someone likes our new theme.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, Desmond says cool theme tune. So thank you, Desmond. So the first unofficial question of the podcast is... You got anything that makes me happy? Because I'm really feeling it today.
Also, do you like the new theme? Because
do you like the new theme?
It.
Yeah. And Sophie wants to come in and say hello. Say hello, Soph.
I fell in the mud.
That is Sophie's contribution to the podcast today. She fell in the mud.
I actually did. I was in the dog pond. And
What were you doing in the dog pond?
I don't know. I was just in the dog pond and I slipped and I fell on my bum.
I think...
Thank you, Sophie. I really appreciate that. Shall we... one thing I want to mention before we start is... we had a lovely little Facebook message yesterday from the team at EQ. Now, they're branding consultants up in Manchester, and they were talking about some of the things that have made them... they've been using for a bit of self-care over the lockdown period, and that was Audible, and that was a mindfulness app called Headspace, but it was also listening to the Kindness Project. Clearly not today because I'm in a bit of a poor mood, but on a normal day it's normally all right, isn't it?
Yeah, and even when you're in a poor mood, I just nudged the mic. Sorry, I had to keeping an eye on things. And even if you're in a poor mood, you somehow seem to be chipper.
I'm trying my best. So what are we talking about today?
Okay, so topics of conversations that I have written down. Worst names to give kids. I figured this would be an interesting one because I found something. It's a list of names with the birth dates. Okay, it's this list I found online about worst names people have ever given their kids throughout documented history. So here's some. Someone was born in 1771 in Somerset, England, by the name of Burp.
I like the one at the top that says Alphabeta. I mean, that is
who died in Yorkshire in 1849.
That is somewhere where the midwives said, "You got a name?" And they went, "No."
Look at this top one.
And the midwife's just gone, "You can pick anything from the alphabet." Alphabeta.
Look at this top one. It's Abaicus Gentilis.
Not a great name.
baptised in Buckinghamshire, England in 1648.
Genuinely, I thought that one there said Doug, and I thought Doug's not a bad name. I know somebody called Doug. It's actually Drug.
Who was born in 1847 in Alabama in the US.
Flappy died in. This is a good subject. Sorry, can we just add this as one of our unofficial questions of the podcast? Silliest name. We'd really like that.
Luca was born in Essex in 1870.
One too many. I mean, like, if you want to be known as the child that was just a step too far, just call your child one too many. Here's Sophie again. She was a main contribution.
And look at these full names.
Okay, so we've got, but that's my favourite. Full name, barbecue. Barbecue. If your name is Mr. Key, do me a favour. Don't give your son the first name Don. All right, just Don Key just doesn't work.
Strawberry.
If your surname is Berry, don't give your son the first name Rob. Robbery. Go on, give me a few others.
Sarah Tonin, married in 1813.
Yeah.
Timber, born in 1867.
Timber.
Testicle, born in 1893.
Now I'm wondering whether these are people who have. I'm wondering whether these are people who have married into these names, or like if your name is.
Tess.
If your name is, well, the thing is, Soph, if your name is. Sorry, I've just got that. If your name is Tess Smith, do you marry Mr. Tickle? You probably don't, do you? Do you know what I mean?
Born in 1900.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that.
1900.
Gladys Friday.
So glad it's Friday.
Someone's
Go on, give me a few more. I like these.
Apple pie.
Just because they look good enough to eat doesn't mean they should be named after foods.
Apple
Pie.
Quiche,
Cherry
born
tart.
1900 in Ohio, USA.
Apple pie. Born in 1830. I don't know how to say that.
or simply one name, born in 1840. Just call your son or daughter Porridge.
Look, lasagna. 1968, North Carolina, USA.
So we
Lasagna.
have established. We have. All right, can we stop just naming foods now? That's what it's got to.
No, it's on the list. 1876,
Right,
Virginia, USA, custard.
So, what is the question of the podcast for today, unofficial, is what ridiculous name would you give your child if the intention was to just pick the most ridiculous name? So,
Someone named their child Caravan in 1857.
yeah.
Garage.
It'd be even better if their surname was Love. Caravan of Love. Anyway.
Just in case.
Sophie, are you sticking around for the podcast, or you right? Grab a chair then, and come
We'll
and sit
shuffle.
down. So we've got another guest host today. It's
Right.
Sophie Davis. So we've done names. We've established that naming your
Yes.
child after food, cars, or just. Be careful when you pick a first name for a child.
See, there was one person who just straight up named their child Penis, and it was like,
No.
no, please don't. So would you mind filling us in on what the question of the podcast actually is?
So the question of the podcast today is: what are you most grateful for in lockdown? Yeah, what's made you happiest during lockdown? So this has been a particularly challenging time. We know that. Certainly, some days better than others. I'm having one of those some days. But what we'd like to know, lockdown has had its advantages. Why did I just get tapped on the head twice like a dog? Lockdown has had its advantages, so please share with us what you think have been the good things about lockdown.
What's that?
So, what was it?
Don't know.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
There's strange noises outside. The way you two reacted, I thought it was an earthquake. You can get in touch with us in all of the usual ways. We are live on the Kindness Project Facebook page, and you can watch that either live or on catch up, as many of our viewers do. You can listen on the Kindness Project website, thekindnessproject.co.uk, or you can tweet us at HollerKindness, or you can email us at
thekindnessproject.co.uk.
all of those different methods you can use to get in touch. Now, what I've had one interesting thought though. By the time this goes out on the audio podcast, lockdown's going to be over.
Maybe.
It will. Because we're about 3 months ahead on the audio podcast because we only do an episode a week, don't we?
That's a good point. We've only been in lockdown for what, 2.5 months?
Yeah. So if you're listening to this on the audio version of the podcast, speak to us from the future. Let us know what's happening in the. Why are you singing when I'm talking?
If I knew the Back to the Future theme, I'd be singing too right now.
Let us know what's going on today in your world and what you're looking back at lockdown, what your most positive thing in lockdown was.
I have more topics of conversation. Okay, so I put this on there because it was one of the things I thought would be interesting to talk about. So how have you changed since we have begun this podcast?
Clearly grumpier. Clearly grumpier.
I don't know.
I'm trying to put a positive spin on stuff, but that's not...
Let's think 2 years back. How have you changed since 2 years back?
What? Are you changing the question?
No, that was the question originally. You just twisted it.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, how are you different from how you were 2 years ago?
I was 6.
How were you different from 2 years ago, do you think?
She was younger.
We were all younger. I don't know, to be honest. It's really difficult because you just live your life day by day. I think I'm more
Hungry.
I'm fitter than 2 years ago.
I'm hungry.
I'm more. I hope not today, clearly, but on most days I'm kinder, and I'm more focused on just living a better life.
2 years ago, I still thought I was going to sit my GCSEs.
Yeah, 2 years ago, nobody knew what the coronavirus was. It was just this weird.
Having a fight with a stepladder.
It was just this weird thing.
Jesus Christ.
So what did you think? What's changed for 2 years ago? What's changed since beginning this podcast? I've realised how much I miss about my normal life, particularly today. And I've realised actually probably I'm a bit more resilient than I thought I was. Because despite today not being a particularly positive day, most days I'm feeling good.
If you're so resilient, you up for one more question?
Look, I'm resilient. I don't know if I can handle any more of your questions, but give me another one.
Okay, what is the craziest thing you have ever wanted to achieve?
I've got loads on my list. What have you got on your list?
Read every Shakespeare text ever, even if I struggle with them slightly. Find some way to balance journalism and creative writing and still be a reliable source of information, even though a lot of my stuff is going to be fictitious. I like that word.
Okay. But you're not gonna, like, when you do like factual journalism, you're not gonna. I'm gonna start calling you Dominic Cummings, like you make your own stuff up. What?
But something crazy that.
Are you gonna specialise in fake news?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Something crazy that
She's not Donald Trump.
Oh, don't even. That is one thing I could do without. More Donald Trump. I'm not going to rant. So anyway, what's the craziest thing you want to achieve, Safe?
Backflip.
Backflip. I've just added a new one to my list. Backflip sounds very cool. So for me, I think I am going to eventually, during lockdown, hopefully finish the Kindness Project book. That's one thing that I want to tick off my list. I want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. That's on my list. I'm going to do that. I've done the Paris Marathon, but it's always been on my list to run London. And I'll tell you what I want to do in my list. Keep on.
10 sandwiches.
Yeah, that's just gone on my list. But also,
20-foot sub.
Without any water or juice.
you know what? Do you remember a couple of years ago I got a bit obsessed about the Guinness World Records,
Yeah.
and I kept on googling Guinness. I want to get a Guinness World Record, but I just don't know what one I want to go for yet.
They do the weirdest things. Someone said the Guinness World Record for how many times they folded paper was 67 times.
But I thought that if you fold it in a certain
It's 8
way,
times.
you can only get up to folding it 8 times.
No, look.
No, we don't need a live demo live on the
Look,
podcast.
you can fold it small like this, and then it's gonna be a long stick.
You know what we could do?
Welcome to the paper folding podcast with
you know
Sophie
what we could
Dames.
do? World's longest live stream.
24 hours. 48 hours.
But you know what? I think there's a comedian called Mark Watson who does 24-hour live streams.
We should do a 48-hour live stream.
How are we going to do that? I don't know whether I can stay up for
We'll
48
take turns
hours.
sleeping.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way you do it.
The longest video live stream is 161 hours, 11 minutes, 32 seconds in duration, and was achieved by Hulu in Santa Monica from the 13th to 20th of May.
Oh, right,
We're gonna have to go a year then.
but right, no, that's 7 days. That's 7 days.
Do 2 weeks.
If we did an 8-day live stream
We'd get the
consistent,
record.
we'd get the record.
we get
That sounds
the record.
doable.
We could do that.
That sounds
We
doable.
could just take turns. Mum be there too.
Yeah.
Take turns sleeping.
Yeah, but also with the new technology,
I
we'll
would
just
fall asleep halfway through, mate.
halfway through, what, 3.5 days? You're gonna
No, 4
days.
4 days. Oh yeah, so we were doing 8
We're
days.
doing 8 days.
so
we want
yeah.
to beat Hulu.
So one of my aspirations is eventually at some point is to break a world record. I'd like to do that, even if I hold it just for one day, just to say that I've broken that world record would be amazing. I don't think it's going to be in sandwich eating though, but nice try.
Live streaming?
What? Maybe 8 days is possible.
We take turns sleeping.
mate,
Still
mate.
one live stream.
Maybe 8 days, as long as we continuously do it. Maybe 8 days is possible.
It's like Mum join and we take
Yeah, we
turns
could take
sleeping
shifts.
each night.
We could take shifts.
Yeah, we do shifts.
Okay.
Don't worry about all that work stuff
It's just
and all of like
us.
school and
It's us just doing stuff we do every day during quarantine.
what, just live stream our lives.
Yep.
Yes.
But then does it
8 days.
count? If you live stream you sleeping, does it then count
It's
as a live
still
stream?
live streaming.
Still live streaming though.
Not convinced. Anyway, what's our next thing?
I already have it queued up.
Fine.
Dave
No,
Forsdyke's
that-
Silver Linings, Reasons to be Grateful.
Yeah. So thank you, Dave, for continuing to tag us in these posts. Then we'll take a look at every single one, and we love reading them out every day. One of the many silver linings to emerge from this lockdown is learning something new. Dave has been learning new words, and the new words that he loves, the space between your eyebrows, is called the glabella.
Knew that.
I didn't know that.
I did.
There's a if you're listening on the podcast, this means
Tom and
nothing,
Jerry.
but Sophie's just done a little visual description. The way it smells after rain is called petrichor.
Petrichor, knew it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. The plastic or metallic coating at the end of your shoelaces is called an aglet.
There was a Phineas and
that
Ferb
one.
song on that.
The rumbling of stomach is actually called a wamble.
Wamble.
My stomach is wambling.
So you're right. I'm having a little wamble.
Wamble. I
The
literally
cry of a newborn baby is called a vegetus. Or vegetus, I don't know. The prongs on a fork are called tines. Now, I wonder if that's what's that word that describes a word that sounds like a thing, like raw. What's that?
Onomatopoeia?
No, onomatopoeic is the other one, isn't it? I don't know, but that is it. Tings. The sheen I like when you close your eyes and press your hands on them is called phosphenes.
Knew that.
The day after tomorrow is called overmorrow.
I could have guessed that.
That is amazing. I'm going to use that. We are podcasting next overmorrow.
Yeah, Friday.
The space between your nostrils is called the columella nazi. Ineligible handwriting, I do quite a lot.
Griffinage.
It's called griffinage. The dot over an I and over a J is called a tittle. I like that.
I do that.
And the metallic advice used to measure your feet at the shoe store is called the Bannock device. We love
Nice.
all of them.
Nice.
So thank you for sharing them. We really appreciate it. What's next?
Okay, next I have some good news stories, and I'm now regretting not putting riddles in to pack out the show. Okay, after weeks of struggling to make ends meet, hairstylist surprised with $2,500 tip from a walk-in customer.
2,500.
Yeah. A 32-year-old... Stop pulling on my phone charger, please. A 32-year-old hairstylist was left crying tears of joy after a walk-in customer surprised her and her co-workers with a hefty tip for their services. A stylist at Floyd's barbershop at the University of Denver has been struggling to make ends meet since the salon closed amidst the novel coronavirus lockdowns 2 months ago. Although her regular customers have been sending her Venmo payments to support her during the closures, the single mother had been forced to negotiate special arrangements for the rent and utility bills at her home. Since the barbershop recently reopened to the public with strict sanitary and social distance guidelines, Novotny was finally able to return to work earlier this month. She had just been finishing up a busy Saturday shift last week when a man walked in for a haircut. As Novotny trimmed his hair, they chatted about baseball, Colorado, and the difficulties of making it through the quarantine. After Novotny finished the job and started sweeping the floor, the man settled his bill with the receptionist, but before he left the store, he made a puzzling parting comment. "Just so you know," he told her, "it's not a mistake." Minutes later, the salon's tearful receptionist ran over to her station and told her that the man had tipped her $2,500. Not only that, he had given $500 to the receptionist, $1,000 to the general manager, and $1,800 to be divided amongst the shop's 18 employees.
Oh, amazing.
Altogether, he left
5,800.
$500 in tips.
That is very generous, amazing work. And there's places during quarantine, small businesses that haven't been able to open. So when we do get back to normal, and even now, if you need services, please try and support local small businesses. It's super important to do.
I think we've got a comment.
Russell says we've got to go for the longest live podcast. We might have to get Russell in on the mix.
Yeah.
And get him podcasting as well. Go on then next.
Okay, school bus drivers arrange heartwarming aerial tribute for graduating students in quarantine. Since the novel coronavirus, it keeps describing it as that, shutdowns have cancelled thousands of graduation ceremonies across the country. These devoted Ohio bus drivers went above and beyond the call of duty to honour their senior high school students. In a heartfelt display of love and affection, the Loveland High School's transportation department arranged 22 of their buses to spell out 2020 when viewed from above. Jim Barrett, the school's art and photography teacher, then used an aerial drone to capture footage of the bus drivers waving up at the camera.
Have we got
from
a
in
photo
between.
we can show or not? Or have we not that advanced yet?
No.
No.
The school later published it to the social media as means of paying homage to the 392 graduating students, many of who the drivers had known since grade school.
Oh yeah, I like that. It's really clever. 2020 in buses.
Yeah. Some of us have been around long enough to transport these kids since kindergarten, and some of us have only been working in the district for a few years. But the one thing we all have in common is our love for the students.
Oh, amazing.
This is a huge accomplishment, and any way we can show them some love, we will do it. So here's to the class of 2020. Your bus drivers are proud of all of you.
Oh, that is amazing. You know what? You know what I like? And I think we underestimate how tough a time it is for people who have missed school, including you two. But you're doing all right, you too, aren't you?
Charlotte.
You want to read this one?
Yeah. 6-year-old boy's dream come true after FedEx driver helps him to exchange gifts with Tony Hawk.
I'm sorry, let me make it do it for you.
This little boy got to exchange gifts with his skateboarding hero after a compassionate FedEx driver went above and beyond to the Call of Duty to make it happen. The delivery driver
Mikhail Farrar.
had been driving through Swanee, Georgia on his daily route last week when he saw a youngster chasing after his mail truck. 6-year-old Cooper Morgan had flagged Farrar down so he could ask him to deliver a gift to his skateboarding idol, Tony Hawk.
Now, Tony Hawk is the world's probably most famous skateboarder. I remember in the 90s he was big, and I remember playing on my PlayStation Tony Hawk skateboarding. The closest I have ever been to being able to master skateboarding ever.
This was the story.
The gift was a worn-out skateboard deck that had Tony Hawk's name written in black marker on the end of the board and Cooper's name written on the other. Although the board was not properly packaged or addressed, the youngster told Farrar, "Get this to Tony Hawk from me, tell him it's from Cooper." Farrar did not want to disappoint Cooper, so he took a chance on the internet and posted a video to his TikTok channel explaining
His predicament.
a few hours later after uploading the post. He checked his phone and he was stunned to see a flood of notifications from his social media users tagging Tony Hawk and praising Farrar for the adorable gesture. Not only that, Hawk uploaded a video to respond to Farrar on his channel, which was the pro skater's first TikTok video in 2 years.
What's Tony Hawk doing? He should get some TikTok in his life, shouldn't he? We love a bit of TikTok. Actually, my favourite TikToker at the minute, is that a word? TikToker?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're using it. Is it an actual way to
Yeah.
describe people who do TikTok
Yes.
videos? TikTokers. My favourite, are you a TikToker? I may be a TikToker. My favourite TikToker at the minute is the Icelandic legend that is Dardi.
Who's Darcy?
The guy who did
Oh, the
Think About
Eurovision
Things.
guys.
The Eurovision guy.
Oh.
So I like his videos at the minute, and I am a little bit obsessed with Think About Things.
Dad.
Yes.
Can you beat Charlie D'Amelio's how many likes you get?
I don't know.
She's really famous TikToker. She's getting loads of likes just for eating cake.
Is she? Maybe we should do that. Maybe that should be the world record. What? Do you want to carry on with the story?
Hawk thanked Farrar for connecting him with his young fans and sent a private message with his home address so Farrar could mail the skateboard. Hawk also said he would be mailing several new skateboards over to Cooper and his family in return.
Oh, nice.
His 9-year-old brother Tucker.
Both avid skateboarders because of their father, Robbie Morgan, who started skating with his own younger brother when they were children.
Yeah.
So when he and his kids received a package containing 3 new skateboards from Hawk earlier this week, they were floored. We both idolised Tony Hawk. A lot of kids got into skateboarding because of him, so this is a childhood dream of mine. Seeing the look of joy on their faces when they saw the video, and when they got the package this morning, it's been surreal.
Amazing. So that is the stories of good news
Yes.
in this episode of the Kindness Project. So thank you. we've got some answers to the podcast, and thanks for sending these in. So, what's made you happiest during lockdown? It's been quite a popular one this morning, considering I only posted it this morning.
Yes.
Steve Dan said that he had the virus, so coming out of that was a big relief. Hazel Gray said Zoom drinks with friends every Thursday and Friday. Lockdown has made friendship stronger and brought us closer, strangely. Kim Oval said having quality time with my husband and children away from all the madness. Jane Eve Horgan said family time. Katie Bragoli said the simple life. Family time, eating together. No rush into clubs, commitments, garden evenings. No clock watching. Board games, baking and movie nights, and we've enjoyed some of that, haven't we? You know, making sure that we've got enough time for each other. Greek night, takeaway night in the Dame's house on Saturday. I'm looking forward to that. Russ is enjoying how well that food was amazing, wasn't it?
Caribbean.
Yeah.
They had a big block of mac and cheese. It was delicious.
Cool. Rise of Games said he's enjoying how well the Kindness Project is going, and that's down to a lot
He
down
is
to
very happy indeed.
a lot down to your hard work, Rise.
Yes.
So thank you for delivering on that. Justin said being able to spend quality time with his gorgeous new puppy.
Aww.
Chris Laney saying seeing wonderful people helping each other, people seem more polite. And the podcast is, for me, so real. So thank you. Caroline Thompson said being able to spend more time at home rather than commuting every day. Although I do miss the weirdos on the tube.
That's me with the peeps on the bus.
But not the peeps on the bus. That's the name of the podcast all in its own. The peeps on the bus.
Yeah, it's a fiction podcast about
On the bus going
about
down
supernatural creatures that
It's one-
board a bus. Yeah.
It's one of your fiction / journalism podcasts.
peeps on the
Although I do miss the weirdos on the tube, but not enough to get back into the office just yet. Jill Bird's liking the peace and quiet, and Steve Thompson saying being with Tracy Thompson more rather than working all the time. So some really good ones there that are talking about the fact that lockdown for a lot of people has been about spending more time with the people they love, which I absolutely love as well. Nip
I already
Bamford,
have the. Okay.
Nip Bamford said, taming the robin's nest in my garden so that they would eat from my... taming the robins nesting in my garden so they would eat from my hand. Mike Rohan said, having breakfast every day with my 3-year-old. First time in her life, Daddy has been there every day for 2 months straight, and that's priceless. I think the biggest thing for me about lockdown is that confirmation, and actually even in lockdown, because we've still been working, we've probably not made the most of it as we should, but the fact that time is so important. Serena, it's Serena again, friend of the show, Serena. Serena, do you want to do it?
No.
Do you want to do it safe?
Which Serena?
Serena.
Thank you.
So I've been honoured to pronounce the name. Cheers, guys. I've been honoured to pronounce.
I don't want to
Serena's
insult
name,
anyone.
Serena van der Meulen. So you know, hey, look, if you're gonna go for it, go for it. Serena van der Meulen said, seeing how lockdown has been so amazing for my daughter who has mental health issues, I've never seen her so relaxed, and certainly I've heard a lot of stories about people with anxiety who have found themselves in a position where because they've been anxious, actually having the security of home has been a bit of a difference.
I think there's one more.
And Michael Taggart said, finally realising I was going to live 3 days after slicing the top off my ring finger with a potato peeler. Blimey.
Yeah, good on you, man.
And Under Money said, visiting castles previously unknown to me, which might be a reference to Dominic Cummings or might not. I don't know. On that note, we are finishing the podcast. We have got a guest on Friday. It's Bianca, and she's going to be talking about the importance of fitness in lockdown. We are still looking for.
Soph's trying to spoil my joke.
Is she?
I'm not.
Is she?
I'm laughing at it.
Don't laugh at it. That's not allowed. Why are you going like that? So
I'm not-
Bianca is coming along and talk to us about the importance of fitness in lockdown. So we're going to be talking to her about that. We are still looking for guests to invite on the Kindness Project Live. We've got some amazing guests coming up at the start of June, so feel free to get in touch with us, with the people that we should speak to who are doing amazing work
Yep.
in the world. So feel free to let us know who we should chat to.
Dad. June is the dog's birthday.
And June is the dog's birthday, which is always good.
The 14th.
The dog's doing amazing stuff in the world. Currently, he's having a kip on the sofa. Again. He does that most of the time. And on that final note, let's do the joke of the day.
What do you call fake spaghetti?
An impasta.
You're supposed to give him time to stew on it, so.
Oh. Sorry.
That is a joke. Goodbye. And have a good evening. Bye.